We did a tour around the city. As a matter of fact, we have some of our Asbury Park friends in the back. And I'm going to have all of you get up and introduce yourselves. Thank you. It's Tim.
Hey guys.
And if you haven't seen the video, it's amazing. Go to our website to look at the video.
Reason to follow PR Council on Facebook and other social media. I'm also a member of the board of the Community Food Bank Southern Branch, and I wanted to remind you that the food bank will hold its annual turkey drive at Acme and ShopRite supermarkets on Saturday, November 20th from 9 to 3. So donate your turkey, your ham, or your side dishes, fixings, or cash is always welcome. We have an amazing purchasing power at the food bank. And we just conducted a very successful diaper drive. That was something new for us. We raised $10,500 and over 300 pounds in diapers. So thank you to any of you who supported that, and look for future efforts along those lines. Thank you.
It's so good to see all of you. I'm Diane Ramfdel. I am a Tai Chi and Qigong instructor. I do classes in Atlantic City and Brigantine, as well as virtual classes. We live in a virtual world these days. And I was very happy to see one of my longtime students in the room. I'm gonna out you, Libby Wales. So I would love to see more of you in class. So thank you very much, and I'm really looking forward to the meeting. This is always one of the best ones that PR Council has. So good to be with you, if only on Zoom.
Diane is a former casino executive, and she's transitioned into a whole new career, so it can be done.
Well, we work together, and we've done many things, and I was also the vice president of the Donnell Perry Cancer Foundation that we both were into at one time, and we worked very hard on that. But at this time, you know, I work at the Ocean Casino in the credit department. Now that I'm a retiree, and I am an artist. I love painting, and my paintings go all kind of ways. I do 3D, I do paper mache, I do weave, you name it. I like to paint, and anything that deals with art. So I am very happy to be here. It's not my first time. I've been here since when they first started. It's just that I'm coming back, you know, because of the pandemic. And so this is my way of helping Bill. I said, I'll help you at the podium. So I thank you very much for all of you coming, because this is a wonderful affair to meet everyone and to give your cards out and to do whatever's new. That you get to meet all different types of people. That's why this is so wonderful. We thank you again.
Thank you.
And I thank you.
Moderator today, Clyde Hughes.
Our program today is Meet the Media, and we have a variety of speakers today that will give us an insight on just that, meeting the media. Introduced is Bill Barlow. He is a reporter at the Press of Atlantic City. And I know in talking to Bill, he's been part of the Press of Atlantic City for less than a year. But before that, he was a freelance writer. I've done a lot of freelance writing, so I know the grind that it takes. And he's also been an editor for a number of publications in Cape May County. So he has a wealth of experience with the media and the local area as well. Bill Barlow. Is Ann Boland. She is the publisher. She is the publisher of Mainland Living and Best Versions Media. And I'm impressed because she just started this a couple of months ago, and the magazine looks great. So I'm very interested in hearing the story about how she got started and what she sees as the future for her magazine. Our third panelist today is Brad Thornberg of Marketing Simplicity, and he will talk to us about how to grow followers and getting your organization into the new media. And we will also address the topic led by Bill of the outsized influence of Facebook and Instagram in the social media setting, which is a hot topic of discussion around the country and also interest of mine as well. So those are our panelists today. Can you please give them all a hand?
Most of what I'm going to talk about, everyone's broadly familiar with, is the concept of the newspaper itself has changed. The responsibilities of a reporter are different. It's still the same responsibility to facts. You still have the same responsibility to tell a story that will engage the audience, and you have a responsibility to fairness, which is different than facts. If you're covering a community, it's not enough to cover when somebody gets shot. You need to be there when someone's born too. You need to be part of the community you cover. Even if you can't speak to something, even if you can't address, there's something's going to come up. Call the reporter back and just explain that to them. If you need to do it off the record, do it off the record. The big secret of it, people think reporters are biased. Reporters like people to call them back, whatever their point of view. You know, some atrocious politician who's calling you from the jail, he returns your phone calls. You're going to call him next time because you know you can reach him. You're on a deadline. You need a story, and here's somebody who will give you a quote. And the other part is just, you know, with the press, it's there are systems for if you're sending in. There's an upload system for photographs that they like you to use. There's news tips at ac.com. If you send it to that rather than the reporter, it will go to everybody. The currents are, you know, owned by the press. They have their own. Also, they have something for events. If you have a coming event, we can't possibly get to every event. We can't get close to every event. But if you get the event listed, it'll much more likely to appear somewhere. If you have an event, use that device in your pocket, that incredibly powerful phone. That, you know, there's something you wanted coverage on, nobody was available, or you know, they just didn't get there for whatever reason. Take some photographs. Get closer than you think you should to your subject. Take a photograph of them, email it to the paper, and it's going to be much more likely that you'll get coverage.
Now we will have Ann Bowen tell us about her magazine.
Go ahead.
Okay. So what we do is we give warm community content and we send it to 3,000 upper income homes in Northfield, Inland, and Summers Point. Let me tell you the story. Moving around a lot as a child has made me curious about people and place. I was prone to moody poetry as I tried to figure out my place in the world. If I had grown up on a farm, perhaps that sense of place would be the land. But for me, it has always been community and people. I was 9 and had moved 5 times when we landed in Cleveland, Ohio. Not exactly a step up from our 3 years in Pasadena, California. There were few kids my age on the block, and I was the new kid again. When I was 14, the father of a neighboring boy died unexpectedly. I put pen to paper and wrote about the existential loss of this man who I didn't really know, but I thought I should have. After all, we lived in the same town and on the same street. This man was now gone, and I wrote, I did not take the time to make him my friend. These words formed the beginning of a through line that leads to mainland living here at the Jersey Shore. So 20 years later, after stints in New York City and DC, the shore beckoned my husband, mostly because he was born here, with the promise of extended family and long summers as we raised our kids. The mainland edition of The Current was a fixture in our Linwood home. I'd take my red Sharpie out and circle tidbits that caught my eye about people we knew, the Halloween parades, the Bellhaven band concerts, which were awesome, the honor roll, and sports updates. I'd place a little pile of information and aspiration next to our boys' cereal bowls as a way of connecting them and myself to families and events in our community. And it was also a not so subtle nudge that I expected to see their names on that honor roll one day. The Current was the family water cooler in our shared mainland experience. During middle school years, video games and the internet elbowed their way into our home. Pokemon, Game Boy, PlayStation, GameCube, and cell phones distracted and replaced the current clippings. The sense of shared space and community took a bit of a hit as we unwittingly retreated into personal information silos along with the rest of America. My Sharpie-stained clippings have morphed into links that I insert into family text threads, and print is certainly not the go-to medium in 2021. So what does all this have to do with mainland living? Actually, everything. The print economy had steadily contracted since my husband was an investigative reporter back in 1993. Magazines and newspapers had folded, and in a very counterintuitive move during the Great Recession of 2007, Best Version Media, which is the company behind the magazine I publish, created 6 monthly micro-targeted magazines for affluent neighborhoods in the Midwest. It turns out people still hunger to connect with their communities. When you take the spark of social media and put it into a glossy, upscale monthly publication that's mailed directly into their hands. We continue as people to respond to warm, engaging community content in print. And that's why 14 years later, BVM has grown to over 1,000 community magazines in North America, with the simple promise of bringing neighbors together.
You're talking, you got 27 different, you got millennials and you've got Generation Z and Generation, all of those between us and the Nancy Pelosi's and the Bidens and everyone else in the world who are 80 years old, which I love the fact that, I don't have to retire anymore, that I can work until I want to work. That's a good thing. But I also feel that you need to infuse some younger thoughts into the whole process. And that's what I think our biggest problem is.
Thank you very much. Yeah, let's have another hand for our speaker. We will have...
We have these commissioned by Mud Girls in Atlantic City, which is a nonprofit that puts women to work to sort of get them back on their feet, women in need. And so it has our logo on the back. We each are going home with one of these. And thank you so much.
That's really nice.
Really
That beats a gift card.